Today is December 27, 2024, and there is a lot coming out in the headlines today regarding potentially delaying or even blocking President Donald Trump from becoming the next president of the United States, delaying the transition of power that is to take place in Congress, or even blocking it altogether. Like I said, take a look at the latest headlines with me. I'm going to share these with you, and we're going to be going through some articles and some video footage so you can see it for yourself. Congress has the power to block Trump from taking office, but lawmakers must act now. This op-ed coming out from The Hill, and this is making headlines everywhere. Take a look at this. Proposed plan to block Donald Trump from taking office sparks MAGA fury, and you can see the dates on this. This is December the 27th, 2024. It is being updated today, as in the last roughly 24 to 48 hours, we are hearing that there are potential plans. However, there is one that we're hearing could be a serious issue here. Take a look at these headlines, though. The Hill criticized for the op-ed urging Congress to block Trump from taking office. You people are sick. But take a look at this, and I'm going to share with you the video footage coming out this morning. Expect a quieter January 6th this time around, as long as Republicans avert a looming speakership crisis. That is right. We're hearing that we could have a Speaker of the House issue with Mike Johnson if we see a repeat in the delay of Republicans coming to an agreement as to who should be the Speaker of the House. They are saying this could be a real issue for the transition of power for the presidency, as we had seen history made before with Kevin McCarthy, as Congress could not come to an agreement over and over and over. They had to vote to try to come up with a Speaker of the House. We're hearing this might be an issue with Mike Johnson, as Republicans were not happy with the budget bill that was first presented. I believe it was over 1,500 pages, if I remember correctly. It was massive, and they're saying he compromised, tried to push it through. They did not pass it through, had to cut it back, and now a lot of Republicans are saying they are not on board with Mike Johnson as Speaker of the House. And if he is not the Speaker of the House and we have a delay and we do not have one, they are saying this could cause issues for the transition of power for Donald Trump. Now, in addition to that, we're hearing that Donald Trump, he has a very ambitious agenda. As president-elect already, we're hearing that he is making waves. As I've shared with you, take a look at this. Donald Trump said he's going to be creating an Iron Dome missile defense for the United States. This coming out a couple days before Christmas. And if you like that, and if you agree with that, put a 47 in the comments. Donald Trump also said he wants to purchase Greenland. He's saying this is a very strategic location for the United States in the event of war, as there are a lot of talks about World War III, missile attacks, and a lot of things going on in the world right now. He said he is concerned with securing the sovereignty and defending the United States and making sure that we take care of the American people. And he is saying Greenland, the entire island's population is about 57,000 people. The vast majority of it is ice, but is this great strategic location in the Arctic. We need it for the safety and security. Is essential for security for our nation. In addition to that, we're hearing that he also wants to control the Panama Canal, and he is saying that he needs this as a strategic location as well, and that China is trying to utilize this, and that this could be a major pivotal location for trade for all of the shipments that go in and out. He is saying he wants to take control of the Panama Canal. In addition to that, we've heard him say that they're going to be cracking down on the border, and there's going to be mass deportations. It's going to be the largest movement that we have seen ever. And we're hearing, I think it's roughly like 4% of the U.S. population is going to get deported, because there has been so many people that have been pouring in across our borders from the north and the south. There are threats of potential attacks of people coming in. We're hearing all kinds of warnings, and Trump is saying it is time to change things. Big changes on the way, lots of promises. We're also seeing, I shared with you yesterday, he's in the middle of negotiations with Russia and Ukraine. Now, I shared with you yesterday, if you missed it, we've heard that those peace talks, the truce, it fell apart, that they're going to have to do some other discussions. Putin is saying, I'm open to talks, but right now just coming to some sort of ceasefire truce, it's not going to happen. And this is what we had heard from the oligarchs in Russia, that there was not going to be an agreement. So we're going to be seeing what Donald Trump, president-elect, is already making waves. And now we're hearing that there are conspiracies out there. There are potential plans to stop him. We're seeing op-eds coming out in the news saying to stop him from moving forward. And there's a lot taking place. And also, while all of this is going on, you might be thinking to yourself, or maybe you haven't even thought about it because he's kind of drifted off in the distance, where is Joe Biden? Well, I'm going to share with you some video footage coming out today. They are saying that 40% of his presidency has been spent on vacation on the beach. Wow. Let me know your thoughts. Do you believe that? I'm going to share with you the video footage. You can take a look for yourself and determine what you think about that. But we're hearing that President-elect Donald Trump, not even in the office yet, is making these moves, proposing these things, causing a lot of movement to happen. He is progressing, and we're hearing that Joe Biden, current president of the United States, he is on the beach. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But like I said, articles are all linked down in the description. I cite all the sources, put it on the screen, read right from it, so that way you can see it for yourself and know that it is the latest. Try to hold myself accountable to the community, so that way you know exactly where the information is coming from. In addition to that, if you appreciate that, take a second, hit that like button for me. Help spread this out further so more people can get the latest information. Subscribe to stay up to date. If this is your first time here, I'll keep you up to speed on everything. Anthony Mann, thank you for the $2 super chat. Trump is that strong delusion sent by God to Thies, he says. Well, thank you for that thought. I appreciate the $2 super chat. I will keep you up to speed on everything. And in addition to that, we also, like I said, for those of you that have been asking for the thyroid medication for potential exposure to radiation, the iodide potassium tablets, I have links to those in the description. I have some for adults and some for all ages, adults and kids. So you can go ahead and check those out if you like. They're only like 15, 20 bucks. Better to have just a little bit of them ready and handy just in case of exposure, along with other resources down below. But with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the video footage so that way you can see it for yourself. We're going to be covering, as I mentioned, potential roadblocks or delays to the transition of power for Donald Trump. And also, in addition to that, where is Joe Biden? They're saying he is on vacation. And they say, listen, it's the holidays. If you're on vacation, we're not knocking it. We just want to let you know. Just want to show you the numbers so you can see how much it is that Joe Biden has actually been on vacation. And again, if you appreciate that, do me a favor. Take a quick second, hit that like button for me, subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. And let's go ahead and start off with some video footage so that way you can see it for yourself. And let's take a look at Joe Biden and where he is at.
Hey, speaking of doing nothing, if you're on vacation, we're not attacking you right now. We're not. You worked hard. You worked your tail off all 2024, and you're taking a little time with friends and family. This guy is different. Joe Biden, he has spent 570 days on vacation the last 4 years. Get out your calculator, America. That is 40% of his presidency. That means 4 out of every 10 days, for those of you who aren't good at math, Joe Biden has spent on a beach or otherwise at some form of not working.
Todd, did you do that math?
Of course, I got up here early this morning
on that graphic. Okay. I was afraid to do the numbers. That's 40%.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. 40% on vacation. Only one person gets to be president. It is a grueling job. It demands more of you than most people. You can't compare the job of presidency to any other occupation. And if you're going to go and ask for it, beg for it, you got to be able to do it. And that 40% on vacation tells me he might not have been up for that job.
Yeah, and also a lot of these vacations, the White House argues the president can work from anywhere. So if he's at his beach house in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, then he has everything he needs, a command center, etc. He's in St. Croix until the new year, allegedly staying at a big donor's house. They won't confirm that, but that's where he stayed in the past. His image of him laying on the beach.
Beautiful.
A lot of these things happen when there were major things happening in the world, like our troops coming under fire in the Middle East, for example, wars breaking out all over the place. So that the course of his 4 years, the timing of these vacations also was a big problem, and the optics of it certainly didn't help him when it came to trying to run for re-election and then also getting kicked off of his own party's ticket as Americans watched that and said, where's the leadership? The world is on fire, and the president is sprawled out on the beach.
Joe, I want to take issue with something that you said. You said only one person can be president. That Wall Street Journal article seemed to imply that, no, multiple people can be president at once, and they were for the last 4 years.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
There you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you happy to see that Donald Trump is going to be transitioning in as the president? If so, drop a 4 47, hit the like button. But we're hearing, as I said, that there are suggestions of plans to delay or even block the transition of power right now. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at these articles so you can see it for yourself. And I'm actually going to be sharing with you some video footage as they're saying that this could be a real issue, not a block, but a delay that is legitimate. And that is the concerns of who is going to be the Speaker of the House. As right now we have Mike Johnson, but we're hearing that after the passing of that budget bill, there are a lot of members in the House of Representatives for the Republicans that are not happy with Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. And if the Republicans cannot come to some sort of an agreement as to who the Speaker of the House is, this could cause a delay. We cannot have a transition until we have a Speaker of the House. But take a look at these headlines with me so that way you can see it for yourself. Now, this came out, I believe it was Thursday, if I remember correctly. Now, this article was written on the 26th, but take a look. Congress has the power to block Trump from taking office, but lawmakers must act now. Oh, excuse me. Yesterday was Thursday. That was the 26th. So yes, this is coming out just in roughly the last 24 hours. Now, take a look at this article just very quickly. Then we're going to be looking at the responses because this is making headlines left and right. The Constitution provides that an oath-breaking insurrectionist is ineligible to be president. This is the plain wording of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. No person shall hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state, who, having previously taken an oath to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or confront to the enemies thereof. This disability can be removed by a 2/3 vote in each house. Disqualification is based on insurrection against the Constitution and not the government. The evidence of Donald Trump's engaging in such insurrection is overwhelming. The matter has been decided in 3 separate forums, 2 of which were fully contested with the active participation of Trump's counsel. So this article came out and it's a detailed list of reasons as to why they believe that he committed insurrection. If you think he did not, put a 47 in the comments. If you think he did, put a 46. But these 2 attorneys write this entire op-ed in the Hill released yesterday, and they are saying Congress needs to act now. Now, we have seen a lot of responses to this as they're saying this is disgusting, this is sick. This in and of itself, they're saying, is an act of insurrection. This coming from the MAGA side, as they are saying that this is trying to stop the transition of power. Take a look at this one coming out from Newsweek. Proposed plan to block Donald Trump from taking office sparks MAGA fury. This coming out today in response to that op-ed. Take a look at this, you guys. It says 2 legal scholars have suggested Democrats should block President-elect Donald Trump from taking office, even as party leaders reject any such efforts and MAGA Republicans decry the very idea. Newsweek reached out by email on Thursday evening yesterday to the Trump transition team for comments. Now, in a historical political comeback, Donald Trump secured the presidency in the 2024 U.S. election, defeating Vice President Kamala Harris. This victory comes nearly 4 years after the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot, where a mob of his supporters stormed Congress in an attempt to overturn the 2020 election results. The insurrection led to widespread condemnation and legal challenges for Trump, including an impeachment for incitement of insurrection, though he was acquitted by the Senate. Now, despite these controversies, Trump's 2024 campaign focused on economic issues, persuading voters of his capability to enhance their financial well-being, which played a significant role in his electoral success. And right here, they primarily focus on the economic benefits, as we've heard him say, for Social Security, stop the double taxation. We have heard him say, ending taxes on tips. A variety of different things that he is suggesting to get America back on track, including tariffs, threats of 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada if they do not secure the borders, threats of 100% tariffs on the BRICS nations for trying to overthrow the U.S. dollar, and also, as I just shared with you, headlines as they are saying also securing our nation, protecting the sovereignty of the United States from potential World War III nuclear attacks and various attacks on U.S. soil and cyber attacks. Donald Trump becoming very aggressive in his approach as he is president-elect. And we're hearing that this is what resonated with a lot of people. And you can see why, as the current administration, you just saw 40% of the presidency was spent on vacation. A lot of people saying Joe Biden might not have been up to the task. If you agree with that maybe he wasn't up for the task and you are amongst those that have not been happy with the current administration, drop a 47 in the comments. And don't forget, hit that like button. Helps spread this information out further across the YouTube platform. Now it says what to know. Who is Evan Davis and David Schultz? These are the individuals that wrote this op-ed. It says Evan Davis and David Schultz, two experts with extensive legal experience who wrote the op-ed for The Hill, which they argued that Democrats would be within their rights to block Trump's certification on grounds of an oath-breaking insurrection that makes Trump ineligible to be the president, they said in that op-ed. Now, Davis is a Columbia Law School educated lawyer who previously served as the president of the New York City Bar Association and editor of the Columbia Law Review. Schultz works as an investment banker in Chicago, but he clerked for the Justice Potter Stewart and was educated at Yale Law School. Schultz is an ardent supporter of President Barack Obama, even renting his Martha Vineyard home to the Obama family in 2013, and is friends with Bill and Hillary Clinton, according to the Chicago Magazine. Now, January 6th cited as a cause for blocking the certification. The argument that both of these men put together forward relies on the 14th Amendment, which says that no person shall hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state who have previously taken an oath to support the Constitution of the United States shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. The authors called evidence of Trump's involvement in the insurrection overwhelming and therefore disqualifying. Davis told Newsweek, I think that the Dems, they will consider this because there should be some reluctance to set aside the Constitution and because they voted to impeach and convict for inciting insurrection. We wrote the piece to encourage attention to the Constitution either by rejecting electoral votes or by a 2/3 vote to remove the disability. Schultz told Newsweek, I think members of Congress are becoming more aware of the issue by the hour, and they're duty-bound to consider it as guardians of the Constitution. How they'll react remains to be seen. Both Democrats and Republicans, they've all taken the same oath of office. We wrote the piece to give voice to the constitutional issue and describe the interrelationship among the events, the office forum that have touched the issues, the official forums that have touched the issue, and the law of the Constitution and the Electoral Count Act. Congress will do what it does, and it has the power under Section 3 to free Trump of the disability of disqualification by reason of insurrection. The politics are intense, though. The law is clear. Should Trump be certified, unless the disability is relieved, his administration will labor under a cloud of illegitimacy, they wrote. Wow. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But these two attorneys putting together this op-ed for The Hill that was released yesterday, making waves all across the news media headlines as they are saying that Congress should block Trump for insurrection. Yet there's a lot of people that are saying that this act in and of itself now are responding and saying this is trying to block a transition of power, making these claims. Now, the authors noted that the Supreme Court's decision on Colorado's plan to leave Trump off the primary ballot, which the court rejected, would likely be the main defense that critics of their plan would use. The Colorado Supreme Court has determined that there was clear and convincing evidence that President Trump engaged in insurrection, as those terms are used in the 14th Amendment. But the U.S. Supreme Court determined that states lack the power to disqualify candidates for federal office. The authors argued the decision's relation to Trump's certification lacks merit, for mainly the fact that the power of certification of electoral college votes is uniquely assigned to Congress by the Constitution. Additionally, they noted that the U.S. Supreme Court's decision did not address the finding that Trump had engaged in an insurrection. The rejection of the vote on constitutionally certified grounds is a non-reviewable political question, Davis and Schultz wrote in their op-ed. The Electoral Count Act that they also cited includes sections on grounds of objections and consideration of objections and questions. Specifically, they referred to a 2022 amendment to the act that provides a detailed mechanism for resolving disputes as to the validity of the Electoral College votes. The act specifies two grounds for objection to an electoral vote. If the electors from a state were not lawfully certified, or if the vote of one or more electors was not regularly given, the author wrote. A vote for a candidate disqualified by the Constitution is plainly in accordance with the normal use of words not regularly given, they continued. Disqualification for engaging in an insurrection is no different from disqualification based on other constitutional requirements such as age, citizenship from birth, and 14 years residency in the United States. So there you have it, you guys. They are coming out and saying that they believe that Congress should act on this. However, as I mentioned, we are seeing pushback coming out, but there is also another one that could be a serious issue here, and that is agreement on Speaker of the House, as they are saying that no transition can take place until we have an official Speaker of the House. But take a look at this last article here with me on this. The Hill criticized for an op-ed urging Congress to block Trump from taking office. It says, "You people are sick." Article 3 of the 14th Amendment bars former office holders who engaged in insurrection from holding public office again. And this one's just a video clip coming out from Fox News, but I'm sure they're probably just going to vocalize the same thing that I'm about to share with you right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at this video footage so that way you can see it for yourself. And if you disagree with this and you think that they need to just let the American people have the transition of power right now, they need to just go ahead and switch it, because this is what people want. An overwhelming vote for Donald Trump over Kamala Harris. Drop those 47s in the comments for me. Let me see those. And also hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Now, we're going to be seeing what comes of this. This has been causing a lot of waves over the last 24 hours. Now, the issue that we are hearing is an issue at hand with the transition of power, though, is, as I mentioned, the issue with the Speaker of the House. Let's go ahead and take a look at this video footage so that way you can see it for yourself and see what it is they're saying, as right now, a lot of Republicans in Congress not happy with Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. Let's see this video footage.
Back in Washington, House Speaker Mike Johnson's future in his role as the Speaker could be at risk ahead of a vote next week.
And the battle for the gavel could delay the certification of President-elect Trump's victory.
Madeline Rivera is live in Washington, and she's got the tea to spill on this. Maddie?
Hi, guys. Good morning. The first order of business for the House when Congress convenes January 3rd is electing a House Speaker. It's all about the math. The House clocks in with 434 members with one vacancy, thanks to former Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz. The breakdown is 219 Republicans to 215 Democrats. The Speaker of the House must win an outright majority of all members. Current Speaker Mike Johnson is on thin ice with the right flank of his party after last week's debacle over government spending.
Before the last couple of weeks, I was, in his corner, but now, we should consider what's the best path forward. We do need to consider whether, if we're going to advance Mr. Trump's agenda, whether the current leadership is what we need.
Johnson relied on Democrats to get the final funding bill across the finish line. It's a similar scenario to 2023 when former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy worked with Democrats to keep the government open. Gaetz then triggered the vote to oust McCarthy. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries signals Democrats won't be helping Johnson.
And there will be no Democrats available to save him or the extreme MAGA Republicans from themselves based on the breaching of a bipartisan agreement.
Without a speaker, the House is paralyzed. It can't swear in members, it can't pass legislation, and here's the kicker. It cannot certify the results of the Electoral College on January 6. Todd, Katie, and Joey.
Madeline Rivera, live for us this morning. Maddie, thank you. Look, when I look at this entire situation, I don't think anybody here on this couch was excited when Mike Johnson put forward a 1,500-page bill there, a couple minutes before Christmas, and basically told everybody to vote on it. That said, I think Republicans have to be very, very wary here. They cannot let perfect be the enemy of the good here. And look, it's certainly concerning, that 1,500-page bill. They ultimately did not settle on that. But your number one priority, in addition to certifying the election of Donald Trump, is making sure that you do not lose a minute while you have this power to put forward Donald Trump's transformative agenda. All you're guaranteed at the most at this point is 2 years. You need to take advantage of each minute of those 2 years, because who knows what 2026 will bring.
Yeah, so there are a number of different factors here, of course, when it comes to the new speaker. The fact is that House Speaker Mike Johnson only has a 4-seat majority. And so if you look at the balance of power here, it's a very, very slim. And so the questions that Republicans and President Donald Trump must be asking is, what is the risk-benefit analysis? Is it worth risking not certifying the election of 2024 on January 6th because House Republicans are infighting about who should be the next speaker? If they're going to do this, they should have someone lined up and ready to go to replace him immediately, because these House Speaker fights can last days, weeks, months.
Not going to happen.
And so they're going to have to decide, is it worth pushing off certifying the election, potentially pushing through the inauguration date to get a new speaker? And whether President Trump, there's reporting that he's upset with the way that the spending bill went down. However, it may be more complicated given that the certification date is in a week and a half.
Listen, I said yesterday, President Trump saved the Republican Party from the aftermath of the Tea Party. I want to walk down memory lane just for a second and explain that. Ted Cruz proved in the Senate, when they were the minority, that you could just complain about everything and not have to be responsible for it and get wildly popular. And that's not a hit at Ted Cruz, but that was a strategy that worked. He got a lot of flash. He'd show up to impromptu press conferences, places. He showed up at the World War II Memorial after we took down the barricades and took credit for that because Barack Obama had shut down the memorials over sequestration. And that has parlayed into the Matt Gaetz of last year, this idea that you can create a protest, not being in the minority, but maybe in the minority of your party, create a protest and kind of the results be damned. Like, regardless of how it ends up, over principle, I'm going to take a stand. So they ousted Kevin McCarthy, and to their credit, Kevin McCarthy did a bad job of not making a deal with Democrats much earlier. That was really his strategic move there that hurt him. They weren't ever going to pass appropriation bills because of the schedule of the calendar. And I don't know that Mike Johnson had a better chance with it this time around. But that is the gripe of Republicans in the House, is that we are supposed to pass appropriation bills to fund our government, have those arguments one at a time, not do this continuing resolution that throws in pork at the end.
Yeah,
that's a very principled argument. But where is the opportunity or even levers to do something different?
Yeah,
and that's the problem.
That the complaints from the Freedom Caucus and those who are very upset about all the spending.
And they were all happy to go home. When McCarthy had the hot potato, they were all happy to go home, leave their staff there to negotiate, and then they came back and said, we don't like this. This doesn't work. So the deal they made with McCarthy, they reneged on, but then the deal that McCarthy made with the American people
McCarthy
and the
is long gone, and Speaker Johnson is currently in power, so we'll see if they can find someone better to do the job. We're going to talk to New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney in just a few moments on Fox and Friends, and certainly we'll ask about this topic.
Thomas Massie said he's a no. Hakeem Jeffries said no Democrats are joining. The math gets a little confusing here for the Republicans.
Not confusing, just tight.
Tight, right?
There you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, I'd be curious, after everything that unfolded with Speaker of the House Mike Johnson and that budget bill, and a lot of Republicans in Congress not happy about that, saying that he was ready to approve a massive, they said, porky spending bill. And actually, we heard this from Elon Musk as well. I believe they said that the day before the vote, that there was over 100 tweets that he had done with pictures of the bill saying, look at this massive bill, with another piece of paper saying this is how big the budget bill should be, just a couple of sheets long. And saying do not pass it. They said, I can't remember, but there was like hashtag shut it down. Yeah, I think that's what was trending, was hashtag shut it down. Shut down the government. Do not allow this ridiculous spending. As Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, they are the head of the DOGE now, the Department of Government Efficiency, making sure that we hold our members of Congress and our federal government accountable for taking care of our nation, and not just allowing them without any accountability to recklessly spend and do whatever. We saw hashtag shut it down. And so as a result, people were very upset that Mike Johnson tried to push that initial bill through. And now we're hearing that a lot of people are saying, get him out of there. He is trying to compromise. He is being too weak with the frivolous spending. But a lot of people saying, no, we need Mike Johnson in there. He was just trying to make good of a difficult situation. Do you agree? Do you feel that Mike Johnson is doing a good job? Just keep him in there and he is going to be aligned with Donald Trump? If you think so, put MJ for Mike Johnson in the comments. If you think no, put no in the comments. No, if you think we need somebody else, put MJ for Mike Johnson. If you want to see him stay in there and you think he's going to align with Donald Trump's ideals and the things that Donald Trump is going to be pushing for in his presidency. But we're hearing that if we do not have somebody in there, this could be a real issue to delay the transition of power. So we will see. Now I see, oh, wow, I'm seeing a lot of no's coming in. A lot of no's. People are saying no more Mike Johnson, that they feel like he overstepped the line with that budget bill in the compromise. I'm seeing a couple of MJs coming in, but I'm seeing the vast majority of the room saying no. Get Speaker of the House Mike Johnson out. Wow. Okay. So now, if this is the opinion of the vast majority, if people feel that Mike Johnson needs to go, the question now becomes who is going to become the next Speaker of the House? And are we going to have members of Congress in the House of Representatives agree on somebody? We have a very, very tight race in the House. As you saw, I think it was, I can't remember the exact numbers, but the Republicans only have it by 4 seats. We basically need every single member of the House of Representatives to agree on the Speaker of the House, with the room of only 3 or 4 votes on the Republican side not voting for it. If not, we could see a repeat of history being made like we saw with Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy, vote after vote after vote after vote. History literally made because they could not get it together. Republicans fighting in the House of Representatives with all of that going on, threatening each other because of the split that we saw led by Matt Gaetz, as he was saying he would not vote for Kevin McCarthy. And it made Republicans infuriated. Why? Because the Democrats had held the entire power of Congress for so long, the House, the Senate, the presidency. Finally, the Republicans had gotten control of the House, and then they couldn't agree on a Speaker of the House. It just showed that the Republicans in and amongst themselves were divided and could not agree, which is not a sign of unity for the Republican Party. So right now, this could be a major issue. If they cannot agree upon a Speaker of the House, no Speaker, there is no transition. There is no movement in Congress. That is the rules. There must be a Speaker of the House that is agreed upon by the majority House party. Otherwise, nothing will unfold. And there you heard Hakeem Jeffries, leader in the House of Representatives for the Democrats, who said, we are not coming to the aid of the Republicans. They're going to have to figure it out on their own. So this right here could be the real threat of potential delay if they don't get something done. F. Joe Biden, thank you for the $5 super chat, says, wait till Trump is in. Otherwise, we won't get Trump. Duh. Yeah, well, they got to make these changes here very soon. So we're going to see what is going to be happening here. Somebody is saying MJ is not a fool. Predictive programming. Leave the world behind. So no Trump, wow, says Becky. No, we're going to see. I'm going to keep you up to date. But what we're hearing is that this could be a serious issue for delay. But it also comes as just in roughly the last 24, 48 hours, we are seeing that op-ed making news across the headlines as from the Hill, 2 attorneys coming out and saying we should block Donald Trump from the transition of power. Absolutely incredible. Now, in addition to that, there are articles that are coming out as they are saying that they need to address this Speaker of the House concern. Take a look at this headline with me very quickly here. Expect a quieter January 6th this time around, as long as Republicans avert a looming speakership crisis. And like I said, these articles coming out roughly in the past couple of days. No Democrats are circulating plans to object to Donald Trump's victory. So just to clarify, that op-ed was the opinion of 2 attorneys saying to block Donald Trump in Congress. Right now, they're saying Democrats, they're not objecting. Kamala Harris plans to certify his win. Republicans just need to make sure that they elect a speaker in time. There you have it. They have got to do the Speaker of the House. This could be the real issue. Republicans could be their own worst enemy if they cannot agree upon a Speaker of the House if they want to remove Mike Johnson. And you can see this article coming out the day after Christmas. Donald Trump's victory has made January 6th boring again. 4 years after a mob of Trump supporters stormed the Capitol to prevent Congress from certifying Joe Biden's victory, Republicans and Democrats seem to agree that they'll give Trump the smooth, drama-free transfer of power that he denied Democrats in 2020. Just to clarify, these are the words of this article. This is from Politico, as you can see, kind of worded in a way that's slanted against Donald Trump. That's despite the fact that many Democrats see Trump as an insurrectionist, ineligible to hold the presidency because of his role in creating the conditions that led to an attack 4 years earlier. Instead, top Democrats say that they have no plans to stand in the way of Trump's victory, and they're not even sure their rank-and-file colleagues will make the token objections that they've lodged in years past. They also anticipate that Vice President Kamala Harris will lead the joint session of Congress to count Trump's presidential electorals precisely the way that her predecessors have, taking no active role in the proceedings and tallying the results certified by the states. The result? A quick and simple transfer of power that will accumulate on January 20th when Trump takes his oath of office. I think you're going to have a pretty sort of normal transfer, and I think we will respect the wishes of the American people. In contrast to what happened back in January 6th of 2021, said Representative Joe Morrell, the top Democrat on the House committee tasked with overseeing elections. I do feel like that's worth saying over and over again. Now, there is one potential crisis attributed to Trump's own party and the incoming president himself. After a spending fiasco last week, now this is the real issue at hand. Conservatives have expressed doubts that Mike Johnson should be still the speaker, and Trump hasn't weighed in to defend him. That House vote is scheduled to occur on January 3rd. Sam Lopez, thank you for the $2 super chat. Make a speaker that is neutral for both parties. Great suggestion, Sam. Thank you for that. I appreciate the support. We will see what they decide because they have got to come up with a Speaker of the House on January 3rd. And if it delays and delays and delays, that could delay a transition of power. That House vote is scheduled to occur on January 3rd, and a protracted battle could delay the certification of Trump's win. Congress can't do anything else until it elects a speaker. Congress is at a standstill, just to clarify. No bills will pass. No transitions of power will take place. Nothing happens if there is no Speaker of the House. The Speaker of the House is the third most powerful position in U.S. Congress. There's the President, the Vice President, and then the lead of Congress is Speaker of the House. If anything happens to the President and Vice President, the Speaker of the House then becomes the leader of the United States. They become essentially the President. Here's a look at how the final stages of the presidential transition will pay out once the new Congress convenes next month, before January 6th. Before Congress convenes to count electoral votes, there are two crucial questions lawmakers must answer. The first is, who will be the Speaker of the House? Now, when the new Congress convenes on January 3rd, their first job is to select a speaker who can then swear in the other members and preside over the adoption of rules to govern the chamber. Until last week, Johnson appeared to be the shoo-in to win the full term, consolidating the support of his fractious conference, winning over de factors and lining up votes for what he hopes will be his first full term. But his stewardship of spending negotiations and an initial deal with Democrats led to a conservative revolt, with several openly calling for a new speaker. Trump also openly issued veiled threats about Johnson's future as the speaker. And again, this could be something that actually does delay the transition of power, and that is Republicans themselves not being able to unify around a leader for the House of Representatives, electing a Speaker of the House to represent Congress. This in and of itself could be huge, and this would be Republicans becoming their own worst enemy. If Democrats, as expected, unanimously back leader Hakeem Jeffries and former Representative Matt Gaetz holds to his promise of not returning to Congress, Johnson can only afford to have one Republican vote against him. That's a suddenly realistic possibility. Representative Thomas Massie has already vowed to oppose him, and several more are non-committal. Wow, this could be a real issue then. We're hearing they almost need every single vote in the House of Representatives. Every single Republican must unify around one person to be the speaker. If we do not have that, there could be a serious issue. We could see a repeat of Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy's issue that we had 2 years ago, where they made history for the revotes and he didn't get in. And then finally, I believe Mike Johnson was the third or fourth person that was elected that they were choosing to vote on that finally got voted in. We are hearing that that budget bill might have been the end of Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. A battle for the speakership could take days, creating uncertainty about the House's ability to count electoral college votes. And there's no roadmap for what to do if a protracted battle eclipses January 6th. That leads to a second question. Could Congress change the date of the joint session? Lawmakers have the authority to pass a law changing the date from January 6th, and there's precedent for doing so in modern history. The branches could, of course, push the session back a few days to give the House breathing room to resolve the speaker fight. Presuming the speakership is resolved, the House and the Senate must agree on the procedures governing the joint session of Congress. For more than 100 years, this has been the uncontroversial, and Congress has approved rules governing the legislative branch, including the Electoral Count Act, a statute that has governed the joint session since 1887. Even in 2020, when Trump was contesting the results of the election, Congress adopted this resolution unanimously. However, the fight that emerged in 2020 revealed that some Republican lawmakers do have doubts about the laws that govern the transfer of power, and Johnson himself has yet to clarify his own views on the Electoral Count Act, particularly since Biden signed significant amendments to it in 2022. Though Republicans are unlikely to want to stoke uncertainty given that their guy is about to take the oath of office, a fight over the Electoral Count Act could still emerge on January 3rd. So, man, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. You can't make this stuff up. Potential blocking of Donald Trump is being threatened by attorneys and op-eds, which honestly I don't feel like is a huge real threat. They're just suggesting this, but it is making people furious that it's being suggested, but a real threat of potential delays of transition of power coming right now as we're hearing that Republicans are not unified behind a Speaker of the House, and we must have a Speaker of the House before the transition of power can take place. Otherwise, not just transition of power, but all legislation, everything is on pause. We have got to see that take place. This could be a real dilemma for the United States and for Donald Trump. Now, in addition to that, though, we are hearing that Donald Trump, he is making waves. He is ready to start getting things done. Take a look at the headlines again. For those of you coming in a little bit late, I've shared with you the past couple of days as we've been around Christmas. Donald Trump said he's going to create an Iron Dome to help protect the United States, a U.S. Iron Dome like they have in Israel. If you like that, put a 47 in the comments. Trump also said he wants to buy Greenland, that this is a strategic location in the Arctic that will protect the sovereignty of the United States and the threat of potential ICBM attacks from our adversaries like Russia. If you like that, put a 47. Now, right now, we're getting pushback from Greenland, but Trump is saying he wants to buy Greenland. The population of Greenland, if I remember correctly, is roughly 57,000 people. So not a whole lot of people, but a whole lot of ice. But he's saying it is a great strategic location. Also, Trump wants the U.S. to control the Panama Canal. He is saying that he wants to have that stronghold and that this is a direct warning to China, who he is saying is utilizing this passage, wants the U.S. to take it back, saying that it was terrible that the U.S. gave it away to Panama for $1, sold it. He said, this is unwise. There have been so many bad deals made by the United States. We need to put America first again. If you agree with that and you like that, put a 47 for Donald Trump. And also, he is saying that he is going to secure our borders, have an Iron Dome, do the walls, and he is going to have the biggest deportation of illegal immigrants that have entered the United States and those that are, wanting to potentially do nefarious things against us, attacks on our soil. He said the biggest deportation is going to take place. Now, he has had pushback from various Democratic liberal nations states like California. Governor Gavin Newsom, they are saying they're going to push back. They're going to help keep the immigrants in, but he is saying, get them out. They pose a threat. What are you doing? But you can see Donald Trump is making waves. And not just only that, but as I read in the articles, a lot of people saying that they switched from voting for Biden to Trump. A lot of people switching over saying, hey, we also don't like the way the economy is going. We feel like Inflation is out of control. Things are too expensive. We can't afford things. Taxes, there's too many taxes for things. The government is spending out of control. Now he has the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. In addition to that, he also is saying no taxes, no double taxation on Social Security, no taxes on tips, an assortment of things to try to help out America. And we're hearing that is resonating with a lot of people. And he's trying to bring peace to various wars around the world. And he is president-elect. But we're hearing that him becoming the actual president of the United States could be under the threat of delay if Republicans don't get their act together. So this has been coming out in the headlines in the roughly past 24, 48 hours. A lot on the transition of power for Donald Trump. But like I said, I will keep you guys up to date every step of the way. We're going to be seeing, because Republicans have got to address this before Donald Trump can come into office. So that is the latest, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'll keep you up to speed on everything. And if you haven't done so yet and you appreciate the updates, don't forget, take a quick second, hit the like button for me. If this is your first time here, subscribe to stay up to date. I'll keep you up to speed on whatever unfolds, so that way you know exactly what's going on. I'll put it on the screen, read right from it, cite it in the description like a book report, so that way I can hold myself accountable to the community. You can rest assured that it is the latest. See the sources, see the dates, know where it's coming from. And also, in addition to that, resources linked down below for you as well. So that way, if you want those iodide potassium tablets, if you want a free guide on how to navigate through power grid failures, as we've received warnings of potential cyber attacks that could be coming. If you need any resources, I'm compiling a list linked down in the description below with Amazon links. Go ahead and click on them, check them out, see if there's things there that you might want to stock up on for you and your family, as right now there is a lot going on. But like I said, I'll keep you up to speed on everything here on the channel. That is the latest, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.